Mike with Mike's Bags. Today I'm reviewing the Voodoo 2.0 by Nola bags. Let's go ahead and dive in, break this bag down. We'll start with the slow side. The slow side is that linen-like material. It's the same slow side you find on the Ultra, Psycho X, Widow X, the slow side of the Reynolds Victory, the Swag Bags Delirium, B3 Justice, the Cornographics Nympho. There's quite a few bags that use this out there. It's in the right conditions, it is a phenomenal material. It plays amazing. In the wrong conditions, it's not a great material. And what I mean is if there's any bit of moisture on the board, humidity, dampness, whatever, if there's moisture on the board, this material just stops, will not move. It plays like a 1 or 2 speed. If that, it just doesn't move. It hits the board, stops. You can't push it. You can't collect it. On dry boards, normal to fast speeds, it plays really well. Speed-wise, I'm going to call it a 5-speed, but this is one of those materials that really, it's almost impossible to pinpoint the speed. Because like I said, moisture on the board, it plays a 1 or 2. Fast, dry boards, it plays a 6 or a 7. And it can play anywhere in between depending on different board conditions, different boards, the weather conditions. It really does fluctuate a lot. I put a number of a 5 on there, but that's really just to give it a number. It really is very dependent on the conditions out there. And you've got to figure that out when conditions are certain, when conditions are right to how it's going to play. But if you find the right conditions, it plays phenomenal. It's amazing material. And I love to throw it in those certain conditions. Fast side, this is that same fast side you find on the Mud Bug that Nola uses. Some other companies have used it from time to time. I don't know if they still consistently use it. Nola's the one I know that uses it pretty consistently. It's an 8-speed material. It's fast. It's great for pushing, collecting. It's really wonderful. And it does pair up really well with the slow side. Both materials are very loose, thin, pliable material. So it gives it a very complementary hand feel. Sometimes you get bags where one side is really thin and loose and one side's thick, and some people just don't like the way that those contrasting materials feel. With this Voodoo, you've got a very similar feel on both sides. So if you have to flip the bag over fast side, it doesn't really change the way the bag feels in your hand. So if hand feels important to you on the consistency of materials, this Voodoo 2.0 is something you might want to look into. Template-wise, it's a medium template bag, pretty standard ACL template. A lot of ACL companies are going to that medium template. Medium and a fill, it's not really a thin bag. However, because these materials are so thin, the bag has a lot of flop to it. It has a medium fill, almost on a fuller hand feel to it, but it has a floppy style of play to it. A lot of forgiveness because of the flop. It's definitely a looser feeling bag. The fill in here is a mixed fill. It's got some round beads along with some of that thicker flat fill in there. I think it's a pretty standard fill that Nola uses in most and all their bags. I love the fill because you get the benefit of the forgiveness and the landing with that flat fill. It kind of takes away a lot of the bounce, the movement that you get with an all bead fill. So you get that forgiveness and the landing, but those beads really aid in that hole friendliness around the hole. As I tend to talk about a lot, that flat fill wants to settle. Those beads don't. They're pretty active. They keep moving inside the bag and gives you that drippiness around the hole. So I found that this fill really works well in this bag. And really because this material, there's two. Besides the moisture, there's two issues that I find with this material. One, it has a kick to it if you play on sticky boards. Sticky boards, it's going to kick on you. If you don't throw flat, it's going to punish you. However, you put that mixed fill in, you take some of that bounce, some of that kick out of it, and you hit those dry boards, faster boards, you take that kick away from you. The other thing is it's not the most hole-friendliest material. It tends to want to hang on the hole when boards are sticky, because this material just gains a lot of friction, a lot of resistance when boards are sticky. Faster boards, it drips in the hole. It doesn't hang up at all. It really just slides in, and you add that bead fill in there, and it just melts in the hole. So faster boards, this bag plays like a dream. Very little kick to it. Extremely hole friendly. It's a very forgiving bag. So because of that flop, you get a larger landing zone because you just get that corner to dip in, and it's just going to pull that back and slide back in. These Voodoo 2.0s are ACL stamped for 2024. So if you play ACL events, you can throw these bags. This leads me into playability. And as I mentioned, right conditions, you pull these things out, they're phenomenal. And like I said, that's to me normal to fast boards, dry conditions. Now, if you throw indoors you can have climate controlled, you can control humidity, control temperature, you get a more consistent board play. You can play these indoors pretty well. If you play outdoors or you play in areas where maybe they're exposed a little bit to the elements outdoors, or the conditions outdoors do kind of come inside the building from time to time, you've got to really be careful about when you're throwing these, because in the wrong conditions, they play horrible. Right conditions, they play amazing. It's really almost complete object. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde style bag for those different conditions. To me, it's a bag designed to run bags in the hole. You're just going to put your 4 bags in, outscore your opponent. That's how I play this. When I pull this out and I got faster boards, I want to just run bags in the hole. And honestly, it's really hard to beat this bag on this fast board, dry board condition because just the way it grabs the hole, the way it slinks in the hole, you're not going to get bags clog up because they fold up really well. It does a great job of sneaking through bags when you've got, your opponent throws some blockers, they got 2 bags up there. You can kind of split the difference and go through without collecting their bag. Now, it's not the best at collecting if you put a blocker. If you leave a bag up there as a blocker, intentional or not, when you go to collect, you have to be sure you come more in the middle. More in the middle, collect, push it, no problem. If you're trying to clip a corner, because this bag is so loose, it just wants to collapse up and just spins around. Almost bullies that block out of the way, it spins around, and your bag you threw, your push bag, ends up taking hole control or going in the hole. Now, that's great for that get around game. If your opponent has a blocker up there, you have the ability to aim for that corner to corner, smash into it, spin around, bully their bag out of the way, you take your hole control, go in. So if you're a type of player who maybe struggles with the cuts, rolls, and flops, you're just having a hard time with that, but you want a bag that gives you options to deal with a dirty style player, that's where this bag comes in because of the ability that it has to really, it almost wants to get around bags easier than it wants to go through bags and push through them. And that's where this does. Like the step out, just aim for it. And because of the flop and the forget it has, all you're trying to do is get that corner. As you go around their bag, you're trying to get a corner to dip in. It'll spin around and pull that bag right back in for you. So it does a great job of getting around those blockers where you play that dirty style opponent. And that's where, again, if I'm playing an opponent who plays a dirty style game and boards are kind of on that faster side, that's when I love to pull this out because I can get around their bag, I can leave their blockers, I can make them have to work to collect their bags. If you get an opponent who plays that dirty style game and they love to throw blockers up, if you can get your bags in the hole and leave their blockers and make them collect them every time, eventually they're going to stop throwing those blockers or they're going to get less aggressive with them and put them more on their side where they're easier to collect and easier for you to get around. And that's how you really deal with a opponent who throws blockers, is make them work to collect their bags because eventually they're going to miss a collect, they're going to end up leaving that blocker over there, or they're going to try to go collect it and end up leaving 2 bags over there, and you're going to end up with 4 points instead of 2. And if you can keep scoring on them, you force them to change their game style and their gameplay, and it becomes your advantage and not theirs. So that's where this bag really shines because it just wants to get around, it just wants to get through gaps. It's great for boards that are congested because you can just sneak your 1 bag in, leave all the other bags there, put your bag in, and claim your points and make your opponent work to get their points to even out. So you put this in your backpack as a complementary style bag, right? It's not a bag you put in there that you say, I'm going to throw this every time I go out no matter what, but it's a bag you put there so when conditions are right, you pull it out. There's not a better bag to throw than this when you have those fast, dry board conditions. You definitely want to check it out. If you live in an area or you play on faster boards and you're looking for a bag to throw, definitely check out those Voodoo 2.0s. I think you'll be surprised at how well they play if you haven't tried them out yet. And that leads me to availability, and Nola has a website. It's NolaBags.com. Put a link in the description for you guys. As always, the bags were $65 for a set, $10 shipping, $75 shipped to you. Phenomenal price for an ACL stamp bags, on that cheaper end for ACL stamp bags. So if it sounds like something you're looking for, it's only a bag that maybe you want to add to your arsenal to complement what you have, or maybe it's a bag that fits the conditions you play in a lot, definitely check out these Voodoo 2.0s. I think you're going to love them. If you've thrown them, drop a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on what you like, what you don't like. I love to hear you guys' opinions. Just put it in the comments for me. I thank you so much for your support, and I thank you for watching.